Hello, I'm Mark,
Casey.
and this is the Tesla Life Express. We're going to talk a little bit about destination chargers that Tesla is going to be increasing. But first, let's roll that title.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. We're going to check out an article, which of course is linked below in the show comments if you'd like to go to that at a later time. But this article is talking about the other type of charging that Tesla does, and that, of course, is destination chargers with wall chargers. I think we've had version 1, version 2, and version 3 at this point. This
So the V3 Plus that had the what I call the mini Magic Dock. They call it Universal. Yeah.
And I think what this article is referring to is they are going to be rolling out, basically doubling the fleet of destination chargers out there. Yeah. Tesla has always made it available to commercial and property owners to register their installed destination chargers. In fact, in the early days, Tesla had even paid for some of the chargers to be shipped to commercial destinations where they would even be installed. So that's something that was in the early days. But as
my grandmother, her bed and breakfast, it has the earliest version of that. You got 2 of the Gen 1 wall connectors and 1 Clipper Creek.
And she got that for free, right? Like that was
for her, yeah, because it was already on when she bought the place. But
right,
I don't know if the original owner got it for free or for a nominal charge.
I know that there were, even cities that would receive them for their municipal lots. Yeah. There was a program that was in place that was quite generous in the early days. Now that Tesla's become more and more successful and there's more and more cars on the road, a lot of people are just contacting them, asking if they can set up these destination chargers and have them on the network. Because, of course, if you've noticed on your Tesla screen is that you can actually look at destination chargers around you. If you don't need a supercharger, you're going to be somewhere for a few hours. You might look for a destination charger to plug in and suck up some juice a little slower and a little more economical than you would at a supercharger.
Economical for everybody because you're not using the high demand juice. It's already slower, so people aren't expecting you to be moved in 30 minutes. I always thought this was a better use for the hotel chargers than to put the superchargers at the hotel, or at least to put them together. I understand why they pick the hotels because they're almost always open. You could use the restrooms, and you could go to the cantina, and get some snacks. But it was just weird that they didn't have very many hotels with destination chargers to match up with those superchargers. Because, like, if you're watching a movie, you don't want to have to leave your movie and then go back to fix the charging situation.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, what's also happening with the 3rd generation of chargers, or the 3 Plus as well, is that Tesla has added some software to these units so that if they're hooked up to some sort of a Wi-Fi network or cellular network, the charger, when plugged in, can read who the vehicle is, or Tesla can add a QR code to the front of the unit where someone can scan it, and it can basically charge the user who's taking the juice from the destination charger and bill them. And Tesla will use its billing software, and the property owner will get reimbursed a percentage of that bill. So it gives a property owner the utility of not giving away free electricity, but providing the actual hardware that someone can charge and pay a reasonable rate. Now, Tesla does identify that every property owner does have the ability to set their own rates. So you may want to look at the rate before you actually go and charge. That might be something to see if if someone is really out to lunch on what the cost of electricity is,
Oh, yeah.
you may want to check that out before plugging in.
I believe it shows up the same way on the screen as it does with the superchargers,
Right.
and it uses the same payment implements. So if you weren't planning to supercharge and you were kind of near the top of your, like if it's a debit card or something, or prepaid or whatever, you want to make sure that you're ready for a charge, and that'll give you an idea of what to expect. But it shouldn't be much because we're talking AC charging, so it's not like there's a lot of uh, work that goes into putting them in versus the DC chargers. There's a site that,
check out the map, and
yeah,
you can sample a few of the ones around you. Now, this article indicates that Tesla is doubling down on the number of these chargers. Currently at about 40,000, they want to pushing it up to 80, 100,000. So they want to make this a big push. And as Casey mentioned, having a location that has both superchargers and level 2, depending on that destination, makes a lot of sense. I've got a location that is yet to open up close to me, about 2 kilometers away from me, actually. That is an outdoor strip mall. So you've got 8 superchargers, and you've got 11 of the destination chargers. And again, the site has yet to open up. You can check it out if you want to look up Kitchener, Ontario on supercharge.info. You can check that out. There's pictures of this installation and the different hardware there. But what's kind of interesting is that all of the destination chargers have a QR code pasted to the front of them. And even though this hasn't opened yet, my speculation is that you'll be able to scan the code, and if you don't have a Tesla app, it will lead you to some sort of a sign up or payment page that Tesla owns and operates, and you'll be able to plug in and get your charge. If you have the app already or you have an account, if you plug in, it probably will recognize your car automatically. But
yep.
if you're of a non-Tesla car, you'll probably have to use the QR code. So
Yeah.
this is kind of interesting. I can't wait for this thing to open up so I can check it out. I think
Were they the universals or were they just the regular threes?
they're the regular 3s. Yeah.
Okay,
So they're
if they were
just
the
NACS.
universals,
They're just NACS plugs. Yeah.
because if you could do the push pull and get the J1772 out,
They are not that one. So
some of them are, but these ones are not.
yeah.
So, but if this was that, then you could also bring your Rivian and your Ford there without having to do anything extra, assuming you'd already set it up for the CCS adapter. You wouldn't
now if you brought the Rivian or Ford, of course they're not a native NACS plug. So
right.
Is the adapter able
That's
to
what
work on AC? Is that what you're telling us?
It will not, because the adapter. The reason I mentioned the adapter is if you've set it up and tried it, then everything is already set up on the back end to charge you and pay.
Right.
But that adapter does not have AC pins in it. So if you try to put low voltage AC into the high voltage DC
that
pin,
will not work.
It won't go. But you can then get a different adapter at your own expense, because Ford and them are not providing these. You can then charge at AC NACS to your AC J1772, which is.
Or you can wait a little while, and why not send an email into Ford and Rivian and say, get your damn NACS connector in the next version of your car so I can buy one.
Yes. Well, Rivian, we've already seen at least on the R2. So at the very latest, the R2 will have the NACS port, and it'll be on the correct side of the car. Because at first they were talking about putting it on the driver's side rear, so you would have to walk around the car like this every time you got in and out. And so then they came to their senses and they moved it to the correct place for these. So it'll match what the
driver's side rear.
Yeah.
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 So this is kind of interesting with this with these destination chargers as they grow. Certainly, I can see this being very valuable to the charging community. Of course, if you do have the ability to have a Magic Dock type one, that's the best of all worlds. But as cars start to get the NACS plug, these chargers are become more and more useful. for the charging public. And if it's that easy to just plug in and it recognizes your car, and you can get an AC level 2 charge, then that's going to be a huge plus. And in some cases, grocery shopping, going to the mall, seeing a movie, all those things where a slower charge is just fine. Certainly, that's going to help the charging public.
or even preferred. Also, if you have a GM vehicle that we just talked about on the main show about how the GM has finally got their adapters, their adapter will also not work because it's DC again. But their car also doesn't do plug-in charge with the Tesla system, so you'll have to use probably. I would just start with the Tesla app and see what happens, but you might have to use a combo of the apps based on the way they described it. Uh, One of these sites has opened up near me. It's like put in online, ready to go. It was quite cool to see. I didn't go scope it out myself because it's at a government office. So like you're gonna go in, pay your property taxes, pay your court fees, file some property paperwork, that sort of thing. Not a place I like to spend time. But it was the one in Virginia was a polling place. So I could have, if that was where I voted, I could have ended up there and tried it then. But it's not where I vote. So but it was really cool. They made the announcement. I know that they brought it out on their Facebook, their Twitter, and then of course the local clubs and others published it. And they described it exactly as so. You're gonna go ahead and plug in, and then Tesla will charge you, and then uh, they'll get reimbursed for their electricity. And so while you're out running your errands, which they don't run as quickly as the DMV does at regular government offices. So you'll have a significant amount of charge done when you get back, at least to cover that particular part of the errand.
So that that's something that can, I would say, supplement other charging options that are out there. This will give people the ability to have a few more options that don't exist today.
Yeah, like say say that your office's favorite lunch place has one of these either at their site or in their parking lot. Now, while you're sitting out eating lunch for 45 minutes to an hour,
Yeah.
you put in some miles.
I have a photo of one of these sites that let's just share that right now. And you can say this is the one that's close to me. And you can't see it because of the contrast here, but this level 3 Tesla L2 charger, it actually has a protection coating over the front of it, and there's a QR code near the center that you would scan. But you can see that they've got the superchargers incorporated with the L2s, supercharging on one side of the island and L2 charging on the other side. I'm sure that's going to confuse some people at the beginning as to which side they're going to stop and plug in, and you're probably going to get a little bit of a mix mash of people on both sides. But it is an interesting setup, and since this is an outdoor type strip mall, a regional mall, this is where people spend some time, and L2, especially 11 of them, makes sense at this type of a center.
Yeah. Hopefully, what we'll see on the tops of those V3s there is with those little cards that they put in. So like you had the one for the was it 50,000 supercharger?
Yep.
And
Yep.
and the disabled access use last. Hopefully they'll say charge this side. And
Yes.
I've seen where they're the doubles next to each other. They say charge other side first.
Exactly. So that would be a plus that they could get those signs in there. I think I've seen signs since, but again, hasn't been turned on yet. We're waiting for it to happen. And as far as I know, I haven't seen another supercharger in North America that has this combination at a regular supercharger site of both superchargers and L2 on the same island. I don't think I've seen this before. But we shall see as we get a little closer. I think we will call it a show at this point. Casey, any shout outs from you?
Yeah, catch me and maybe Moto on Sunday at 1:10 Eastern over at youtube.com/Casey Green. This week we'll be covering all the stories we missed because Tesla had me out and about. And then we will discuss this week's stories as well. And It'll be a blast. We last week we got to introduce you to the saga, and hopefully by the next week's show we'll be able to tell you what happened with the saga. I don't know right now because the car went from 70% state of charge to 17, and then sent me a doors open notification, and I believe a windows down notification, which tells me that they moved it from outside to inside and are now working on it, or at least started working on it before the closing bell, and we'll see what happens.
And rolled down all your windows. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Baby. Oh no. You're standing on my cab.
Oh no. There's trouble in the studio. Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Press that subscribe button. Help us out. And why not check out National Drive Electric Week on Google and see what event is happening around you in this next coming week, as all electric vehicles are going to be on display across North America. Check out an event, join one, check it out, and let us know how you like it.
I didn't catch if you mentioned that they should also come back on Monday for the next Tesla Life.
That's
Express.
Right. Express on Monday. So we shall see you then. Until then, signing out, and together we will get together next and find out what's happening in the Tesla Life.
Catch you then. See you on the flip side.